So let's just settle into our meditation posture and check your alignment. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do this. I've got to just adjust the mic so you'll get a bit of sound. Welcome Hin. Hin's on her way in. So just, in order to, we've been doing this alignment thing, I think, for long enough now. But really, I'd like to emphasize the lengthening the spine and having the shoulders over the hips and your sits bones raised. This really helps to prevent you from sinking back down on your sacrum, in the pelvic area. So you want to be on top of your sits bones. And just imagine the spine is lengthening, 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 getting some space in between your vertebrae. And elongating those muscles along the back. You know, everything is, as we're sitting all day, and many people are sitting at their computers, we get all very, very tight around our lower back, around our neck and shoulders. So it's really good to just, even if you're just imagining that you're lengthening. So the head hinges forward, it's tipping forward from the top of the spine. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose and the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And relax the jaw and bring your mind to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes. And particularly go to the back of the eye. I mean, if you have corrective lenses, maybe by the end of the day your eyes are tired. If you have contacts, maybe they're a bit dry. So just imagine just relaxing all the muscles in the back of the eye. And I'm just recently been wearing contacts, and as I'm trying to figure out which one, I noticed the brain has a very large part to play in adjusting to vision, which I just find fascinating. So maybe you can imagine relaxing that part of the brain as well. And relax the nose and the cheeks and the mouth. And then go to the back of the head and relax the scalp around the base of the skull, the occipital bone. Relax the jaw. Relax the temples, the inner ear. Relax the back of the tongue. And then bring the mind again to the breath, just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. It's a little bit cooler as you breathe in than when you breathe out. And then just be aware of any sounds in your environment and try not to follow those sounds. Just allow the sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with your mind. And then bring that mind back to the breath. And just be aware of what thoughts might be arising. And then allow them without criticism, without opinions. And just watch what's arising with some level of curiosity, like a scientific observer. And then we can bring to mind all those people of our life, the ones we love, the ones we find a bit difficult, and then those strangers. Keeping in mind that they can all change place at any time. The friend, the enemy, the stranger. And they're all the same as us. In their wish to be happy, the wish to be free from suffering, and in this having this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. This is what we're working towards here. in this practice. Purification. So I think we'll do this practice for all these people of our life, and then by extension, all sentient beings, and then for ourselves as we're moving along our spiritual path. So just to remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this is really a psychological process we're doing here. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind. And we purify in the context of the 4 opponent powers. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of future suffering. Who wants that? We know from our present suffering, we don't want it. Logically, it makes sense then. We will pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart, having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And we also just have a regret for our delusions, our anger and attachment and the rest, but of the cause of why we harm others, and then think, okay, I'm sick of this suffering, then what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, rather than some kind of higher power that is in control of our lives, who we are asking to forgive us. We're not wanting that at all. We're going to do the work ourselves just by relying on Vajrasattva's method. So you'd imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine this is your teacher or your trusted mentor manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And Vajrasattva has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long, shaped like lotus petals, and very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we have this little section on compassion. So we're also relying upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So you can think particularly of somebody that you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then maybe generally all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and just have a strong wish for them to be free from suffering. And the reason you want to develop compassion for them is because the harm they've caused you is going to manifest in the future as some kind of suffering for them. So we make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all the sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and imagine that Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and into your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Subokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Memutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Supokaya Mebawa, Hanarakta Mebawa, Savasiti Mebi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dita Mebawa, Sutokaya Mebawa, Supokaya Mebawa, Anarakta Mebawa, Savasiti Mebi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And now think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. So next is the purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva again very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Savasiti Mebi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So just think every syllable that falls out of your mouth is of benefit to others and also to yourself. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately again sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on a switch. The light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression and attachment and greediness and grasping and neediness and jealousy and bitterness and grudges and anger, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa sipokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our suffering, all of our own delusions, not coming from the outside. And the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, so imagine it's completely purified. And remember now, there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next we're just to kind of like rounding off, we're purifying even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So you can imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. So now really try and imagine, really try and feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth step in the purification process. And a really crucial one is this determination to try and refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind again. And, you know, without this determination, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again because we're human. We have habits that can be karmic, coming from previous lives. That can be very strong, could be reinforced by our environment. So it's not easy. And without this determination, without this aspiration to not harm, we're not going to actually ever get anything done in that direction. So it's kind of like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So everything exists on the tip of the wish, the aspiration. So just think of something that you'd like to work on between now and, if you're doing the practice over the weekend, tomorrow night or Monday, whatever it is you're thinking about, trying to change that's harmful to you and others, and give yourself a reasonable timeline. It's not going to happen overnight, and we can just work on one little aspect of something for a little bit and then give that a rest and then go and work on something else. Just slowly, slowly over time, things will start to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And a little meditation on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So we can think perhaps of all things as being empty, in that all phenomena are empty. They don't exist from their own side. So they're just dependent arisings. This comes because of that, cause and effect. And then we can think that perhaps the way we view things may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created from doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this Vajrasattva practice tonight ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, O Tub Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzin Kyong Pelaway, Kunza Dog Porze, Chog Sum Kurway Leg Mon to Drup, Pa Dog Sog Dulaje, Kondu Jab Ten Shog. Lama Ursel Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please, please live long. And Takeshi Shara, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay.